The galaxy had seen many empires rise and fall. Countless alien races filled the stars, each proud of their technology, their strength, and their fleets. Among them, humanity was considered nothing more than a minor race, barely stepping out of its own system. They were new, untested, and often dismissed as fragile beings. When humans announced they had created a warship, the galaxy laughed. To the powerful races who ruled space, the vessel looked small, thin, and unimpressive. Its hull was plain, its weapons seemed minimal, and its design lacked the heavy armor that other fleets carried with pride. They called it a toy ship, a floating piece of scrap, unworthy of even being noticed. From the first day it was revealed, the whispers spread across star systems. Humanity thinks it can fight? How amusing. That ship looks like it would break apart in a storm. Even our training drones could destroy it. The mockery grew louder with every passing week. Alien merchants mocked it in spaceports. Alien commanders spoke of it as a joke during their councils. Even pirates laughed, believing it would be easy prey if it ever left Earth's orbit. But humanity remained silent. Their leaders did not respond to the insults. Their engineers did not defend the design. The ship simply floated in its dock, waiting and waiting. The truth was hidden behind layers of secrecy. Humanity had poured its brightest minds into this vessel, not for show, but for survival. The galaxy did not know that Earth's history was one of constant struggle, wars, conflicts, inventions born out of desperation. Humanity had learned to win not through brute force, but through cleverness, innovation, and determination. The warship was no different. The opportunity for the galaxy to see its power came sooner than expected. An alien empire, arrogant and sure of its dominance, decided to make an example out of humanity. They sent a fleet of warships, sleek, armored, and armed with cannons that had destroyed countless enemies before. Their commanders expected the battle to last no more than minutes. "Crush the humans," their leader declared. "Let the galaxy see what happens when a weak race dares to pretend it is strong." The alien fleet entered human space with confidence. Reports spread quickly, and soon the galaxy watched. News channels broadcasted the invasion. Pirate lords tuned in to see the coming destruction. Politicians prepared their speeches, ready to lecture humanity for its arrogance. The so-called toy warship moved out of its dock. At first glance, it looked even weaker than before. Its hull seemed too thin to withstand heavy fire. Its movement was slow, almost clumsy compared to the sleek alien vessels. Even some humans watching from Earth worried that it was not enough, that maybe the galaxy was right after all. The alien commanders laughed over open channels. "Do you think that fragile thing can stand against us? You should have stayed on your little blue planet. This battle will be over before your people finish watching." The first shots came from the alien side. Blazing plasma and heavy torpedoes streaked across space, striking the human vessel shields. For a moment, nothing seemed unusual. The ship trembled, its shield flickered, and the galaxy prepared to laugh again. But then, the ship stabilized. Its systems absorbed the energy, redirecting power through hidden conduits. The hull shifted slightly, revealing patterns that had been invisible before. The ship was not weak, it was built to appear weak. Inside the human vessel, the crew worked in silence. Calm, focused, and determined. They knew what was at stake. Every human eye in the galaxy was watching. Every alien voice was mocking. This battle would decide whether humanity would forever be dismissed or forever be feared. The commander of the warship gave a single order: fire. The ship's main cannon, hidden within its core, activated. For years, Humanity had experimented with weapons that no alien race had ever seen. They had studied energy, gravity, and fusion in ways the galaxy ignored. The result was a weapon designed not to damage, but to erase. The cannon fired once. The energy beam cut across space, silent and blinding. It struck the alien flagship directly, and in an instant, the mighty vessel simply vanished. Not broken, not burning, gone. The galaxy gasped. The laughter stopped. The humans had fired only once. Silence filled the galaxy. The alien flagship was gone, erased in a flash of light so sudden that even the sensors of nearby ships could not explain it. One moment, the most powerful vessel of the invading fleet was charging its cannons. The next, it was nothing but scattered fragments, glowing like dust in the void. The alien commanders froze in disbelief. Their voices, once mocking and confident, now cracked with panic. What weapon was that? No ship can unleash that much energy with a single shot. This is impossible. But humanity had made the impossible real. The so-called toy warship floated calmly, as if nothing had happened. Its hull gleamed faintly, its systems quiet. From the outside, it still looked fragile, but the galaxy now understood. This was no toy. This was a predator disguised as prey. Inside the ship, the human crew remained steady. No cheers, no wild celebrations. They were soldiers of Earth, trained for this exact moment. Their commander's voice was calm as he gave the next order. Target the second ship. The crew's hands moved over their consoles with precision. The warship's core thrummed again, a low vibration running through the hull. Every system aligned toward the next target. Another alien vessel, one twice the size of the human ship, locked its weapons and fired. Plasma blast cut through the void, striking the human ship's shields with blazing power. The human vessel shook, its shield lines glowing bright. But the energy was absorbed once more, redirected into hidden conduits that strengthened the cannon's charge. And then, with a flash, the warship fired again. The alien cruiser did not even have time to raise emergency defenses. Its hull shimmered for a fraction of a second before dissolving into particles. 2 ships destroyed, 2 ships erased. The alien fleet was thrown into chaos. Commanders shouted conflicting orders. Some demanded a retreat, others ordered an all-out attack. Fighters scrambled from their hangars, swarming toward the human vessel like insects around a flame. The galaxy's broadcast channels buzzed with shock. Billions of eyes across thousands of systems watched the impossible unfold. "This can't be real," one commentator whispered. Humanity just destroyed 2 capital ships in less than a minute," another shouted. Back on Earth, fear turned into awe. Crowds gathered around screens, watching their first true space war. Families who once worried about their future now felt a surge of pride. For the first time, humanity was not the weak race at the edge of the galaxy. They were the ones rewriting the rules of war. But the battle was far from over. The alien fleet still had numbers on their side. Dozens of ships circled, weapons firing in a storm of plasma and torpedoes. Explosions lit up space around the human warship, each blast powerful enough to reduce most vessels to ash. But yet, the human ship endured. Its shield flickered and dimmed but never failed. Its systems groaned under the assault. But the engineers had prepared for this. Every strike absorbed made the ship stronger, feeding its weapon with stolen energy. The more the aliens fired, the more they hastened their own defeat. The commander's voice echoed once more. Fire. A third alien battleship disappeared.
The swarm of fighters tried to circle behind the warship, launching volleys at its engines. But as they closed in, the vessel revealed a new trick. Panels on its hull opened, releasing bursts of concentrated gravity waves. The fighters twisted, collided, and tore apart as if the very space around them had turned against them. The galaxy gasped again. The warship was not only powerful, it was unpredictable. Inside the alien fleet, panic turned to fear. Ships broke formation, captains begging for retreat. But retreat was not so simple. The humans had chosen this battlefield carefully. Hidden mines, cloaked drones, and satellites filled the edges of the system, cutting off escape. The aliens realized too late that they were trapped. The commander spoke softly, but every word carried weight. Humanity will not be mocked. Humanity will not be prey. Today, the galaxy learns. The warship's cannon lit up once more. The alien fleet was in chaos. Commanders who once laughed at humanity were now shouting in fear. Their grand strategy had shattered the moment the human warship fired its first shot. But panic was not the only thing spreading. Anger was rising too. Some alien captains refused to accept defeat. Their pride was stronger than their fear. "This ship cannot be invincible," one captain roared. "Overwhelm it, crush it with numbers." Dozens of alien warships tightened their formation and unleashed their full power. The void of space lit up like a storm. Plasma cannons burned bright. Torpedoes streaked through the darkness, and beams of energy slammed into the human ship. The galaxy watched in silence, believing at last that the human vessel could not endure such fury. No ship, no matter how advanced, could stand against the combined firepower of an entire fleet. But the warship endured. The hull groaned, its shields flickered dangerously, and sparks flew within its control room. Yet the vessel refused to fall. Every strike fueled its hidden systems. Every blast absorbed made its weapon stronger. Then, without warning, the warship shifted. The thin, plain hull that once seemed weak transformed. Panels slid open, revealing hidden armor plates that shimmered with energy. The ship that had once looked fragile now appeared like a beast awakening from slumber. "Release the secondary arrays," the commander ordered. From the warship's flanks, strange devices extended, rings glowing with gravitational light. The aliens fired again, but this time the blasts were swallowed by the rings and bent aside, redirected harmlessly into empty space. Shock waves rippled across the galaxy's viewing screens. What kind of technology is this? They are bending weapons fire away from themselves. This isn't just defense, it's control of space itself. The aliens realized too late that they were fighting not a warship, but a weapon unlike anything they had ever faced. Inside the human ship, the crew worked in silence. Sweat dripped from brows, hands trembled from the strain, but no one faltered. They had been prepared for this moment. They carried not only the honor of their fleets, but the hope of their entire species. One officer spoke softly, almost in awe. "Sir, we are rewriting history." The commander's gaze stayed fixed on the battlefield. "No, we are writing our place in it." The order came again. Fire. This time, the cannon was stronger than before. The beam erupted from the warship's core, wide and unstoppable, tearing through space like a sword of light. 4 alien vessels vanished in an instant, erased so cleanly that even their wreckage was gone. The galaxy's silence broke into chaos. Civilizations far and wide argued, debated, and panicked. If humanity had this power, then every empire, every ruler, every pirate in the stars had reason to fear. The alien fleet cracked under the terror. Some ships turned to flee, desperate to escape the trap humanity had set. But escape was impossible. Cloaked satellites activated, projecting barriers of energy that blocked every route. The humans had been underestimated for too long, and they had prepared for this moment with cold precision. The aliens' laughter was now replaced with cries of despair. One captain begged over open comms, "Humans, stop this madness. What do you want?" The reply was calm, but it cut sharper than any blade. Respect. The alien fleet trembled at the word. For centuries, they had mocked humanity as weak, fragile, and unworthy of notice. Now, with their fleet crumbling, they saw the truth. Humanity had not come to beg for survival. They had come to demand their place in the galaxy. The warship powered its cannon again. The galaxy held its breath. Would the humans show mercy, or would they destroy every last enemy before them? Inside the alien fleets, captains argued bitterly. "Retreat! Save what we can." "No, if we flee, the galaxy will see us as cowards." "We are already cowards. We cannot fight this." But before a decision could be made, the cannon fired once more. Another battleship vanished, its place in the fleet erased forever. The alien empire that had once mocked humanity was losing its pride, its ships, and soon its very rule over the stars. And the galaxy knew this was only the beginning. The battlefield was no longer a contest. It was a lesson. The alien fleet, once proud and unstoppable, was broken. Where dozens of ships had stood in tight formation, now only fragments drifted in silence. Glowing wreckage spun slowly across the void, a graveyard of arrogance. The human warship hovered at the center of it all, not a toy, not weak, a predator among prey. Across the galaxy, shockwaves spread through every system. On distant planets, alien citizens watched in horror as news reports repeated the impossible. The humans, those newcomers to the stars, had erased an entire fleet with a single ship. Politicians whispered of danger, generals questioned their own fleets, and ordinary people began to fear the rise of humanity. On Earth, however, the reaction was different. Crowds filled city streets, cheering and crying at the same time. Families embraced. Children pointed at screens with wide eyes, shouting proudly that it was humanity's ship, humanity's victory. For centuries, humans had been told they were too late to the stars, too weak to stand among the great empires. Tonight, that story had changed. But inside the warship, there was no celebration yet. The battle was not fully over. A handful of alien ships still remained, smaller, damaged, but alive. They circled warily, afraid to approach, yet unwilling to flee. Their commanders were torn between pride and survival. In the human vessel's control room, the crew waited for their leader's command. The atmosphere was heavy, but not with fear, with responsibility. They knew the galaxy was watching their every move. The commander studied the battlefield, then spoke with calm authority. "Transmit a message." A communications officer opened the channel, broadcasting to every surviving alien ship and to every listening station across the galaxy. The commander's voice was steady, clear, and deliberate. "Humanity is not your enemy, but neither are we your prey. We ask only what every race demands: respect. If you challenge us, if you mock us, you will see the cost of your arrogance. This battle is proof enough." For a moment, silence answered. Then from one of the alien ships, a broken voice replied, You cannot be human. No human ship should hold such power. What are you really?" The commander paused before answering. "We are exactly what you feared we could become." The channel cut. The galaxy heard every word. The aliens who remained no longer fired. Instead, they lowered their weapons and pulled back. Their fleets were retreating into the dark. The battle was over. Humanity had won. But behind the scenes, whispers began to grow. How had humanity built such a weapon in secret? How had they created a ship capable of erasing entire vessels with a single shot? Rumors spread fast. Some said humanity had discovered ancient technology hidden on Earth. Others claimed they had stolen alien research and perfected it in silence. A few even believed humans had struck a deal with something far older and darker than any known empire. None of the rumors were true, but the truth was no less terrifying. The ship was not just a war machine, it was a test. Deep within its core, hidden from all sensors, was the result of centuries of human struggle. An engine powered not only by fusion or energy, by controlled manipulation of space itself. While other empires had grown complacent with old weapons, humanity had pushed beyond, desperate to find an edge against stronger races. They had succeeded. The weapon that erased ships was not simple energy. It was a distortion of reality itself, folding space around the target until matter could not exist. It was clean, silent, and final. The galaxy laughed at the warship because they could not understand it. Now they would never forget it. Inside the human ship, the crew worked quietly to stabilize the systems. The battle had proven their strength, but it had also drained them. Power levels flickered dangerously low, and the weapon could not be fired endlessly. The commander knew this well. The ship was powerful, but it was not invincible. That truth remained a carefully guarded secret. Still, the galaxy did not know. And for now, that ignorance was humanity's greatest shield. As the wreckage of the alien fleet drifted into the void, the commander gave one final order. Record the battle. Transmit it to every system. Let them see. Let them remember. The warship turned back toward Earth, carrying not just victory, but a message. Humanity had arrived. The battle was finished, but the war was not. News of the human victory spread faster than light. Across the galaxy, screens replayed the moment when the alien flagship vanished. Commentators argued endlessly, governments called emergency meetings, and generals whispered in secret councils. Some races were horrified, others were impressed, but all were afraid. For centuries, humanity had been dismissed as young and weak, a race barely crawling into space. Now they had shown a power so great that even the oldest empires could not explain it. The empire that had attacked humanity was in ruins. Their once proud fleet was gone, their leaders humiliated before the stars. On their homeworld, protests filled the streets, demanding answers. Citizens asked why their rulers had wasted lives in a war they thought would be easy. And through every corner of the galaxy, one phrase echoed like thunder: respect the humans. Yet, not all listened. In the chambers of rival empires, pride burned like fire. They could not allow a young race to rise so suddenly. If humans were not stopped now, they might grow too powerful, too fast. They are dangerous, one emperor declared, his voice filled with rage. A race that can erase fleets with a single ship cannot be allowed to live freely. Another leader nodded in agreement. If we do nothing, they will challenge us all. Humanity must be broken before they spread further. And so, in secret, alliances began to form. Rival empires that had once been enemies now found common cause: fear of humanity. They shared maps, fleets, and intelligence. Together they planned a strike that would wipe out Earth before its people could build more of their mysterious weapons. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity celebrated. Cities glowed with lights, people cheered in the streets, and for the first time in history, the planet felt united. Differences of nation, language, and culture seemed small compared to what they had achieved together. But inside government halls and hidden bases, human leaders did not celebrate. They knew the truth. The warship had won, yes, but it had been pushed to its limits. Its weapon was strong, but it could not be fired endlessly. The power cells had nearly collapsed, and repairs would take time. The galaxy did not know this, and humanity intended to keep it that way. In the warship's control room, the commander addressed his crew. His voice was steady, but his eyes revealed the weight of what lay ahead. "We have won a battle, but the galaxy will not forgive us. They will fear us. They will unite against us. Remember this. Our strength is not only in this ship, but in who we are. Humanity survives because humanity adapts." The crew nodded. They understood. Back in the galaxy, rumors multiplied like fire. Some claimed the human warship carried ancient technology buried beneath Earth's oceans. Others swore it was powered by the core of a dying star. A few whispered that humans unlocked forbidden science that no empire dared to touch. Each rumor made humanity more mysterious. Each rumor made them more feared. And fear could be dangerous. In a council chamber far across the stars, a gathering of alien leaders met in secret. Dozens of species, some who had hated each other for centuries, now sat side by side. One leader, a creature with a voice like grinding stone, spoke first. "If humanity rises, our power falls. We must not allow them to build more ships." Another hissed in agreement. "Strike Earth now, before it is too late." A third leader, older and cautious, raised a warning. "Do not underestimate them again. We laughed once and we paid the price. If we attack blindly, we may lose everything." But pride was stronger than caution. Plans were made. Fleets were prepared. Humanity had shown its strength, and now the galaxy was sharpening its claws. Back on Earth, scientists worked without rest. The victory had given them time, but not safety. They studied the warship's systems, improved its weapons, and began building more. Quietly, in hidden shipyards orbiting the Moon and Mars, humanity's future was being forged in steel and fire. The commander of the first warship stood on the bridge, staring at the stars. He knew the galaxy would not forgive humanity's boldness. He knew the fleets of the old empires were already on their way. But he also knew this: humanity has survived worse. And this time, the galaxy would learn again.
The stars grew restless. Every major empire, shaken by humanity's sudden rise, began to move. Fleets that once guarded borders now gathered in secret mustering points. Carriers, battleships, and cruisers filled the void, their numbers vast enough to block out starlight. The galaxy had never been so united. Old enemies who had fought for centuries now stood side by side, bound together by one shared fear: humanity. It was said in hushed voices across every council chamber. If the humans are not stopped now, none of us will rule tomorrow. So they built an alliance, an armada greater than any before, forged not for conquest, but for extermination. Their target, Earth. On Earth, humanity had no illusions. The victory of the toy warship had changed the galaxy forever, but it also painted a target on their world. Every leader, every commander, every scientist knew what was coming. In underground bunkers, leaders spoke with urgency. "They will come for us. Then we must be ready." Shipyards worked without pause. The designs of the first warship were studied, improved, and multiplied.
Vessels rose from the docks, each carrying the same hidden power that had stunned the galaxy. Some were smaller, fast and agile. Others were larger, armored, and terrifying. Humanity was building not just one weapon, but a fleet. Still, they knew numbers were against them. Even with every new ship, they could not match the scale of the Galactic Alliance. Humanity's strength had never been numbers. It had always been something else. Inside the command deck of the first warship, the crew trained harder than ever. They knew their ship was both a weapon and a symbol. If it fell, humanity's hope might fall with it. The commander stood before them. His voice was steady, sharp, and full of fire. Remember this. The galaxy unites against us because they fear us. They fear what we can become. Do not let that fear be wasted. We fight not just for Earth, but for every human yet unborn. Today, we prepare. Tomorrow, we endure. And when the time comes, we will show them again. The crew's response was a silent nod. No cheers, no boasts, only determination. The day came sooner than expected. Scouts reported strange readings near the edges of human space. Dozens of signals, then hundreds, moving as one. The Galactic Armada was approaching. The warning spread quickly. The Alliance is here. On Earth, citizens filled shelters. In orbit, fleets formed their lines. The sky above the blue planet shimmered with shields and weapons ready to fire. Humanity would not run. They would not bow. The alien armada entered human space with thunder. Thousands of ships filled the void, blotting out stars. Their formation was a wall of power, vast enough to crush entire systems. The galaxy watched again. Billions of eyes tuned to the broadcast. Would humanity's miracle ship stand against such numbers? Or would Earth be burned to ash? The alien commander sent a single message. Their voices united. Humans, you have overstepped your place. Lay down your weapons, surrender your ship, and accept your weakness, or we will erase your world. The human reply was simple. Come and try. The battle began. The Armada opened fire, a storm of light and firepower that shook the heavens. Entire planets could have been shattered by the force of that first volley. And yet, the human fleet did not break. The first warship moved ahead, its shields glowing bright as it absorbed the storm. Its cannon roared once more, and another alien vessel was erased. Behind it, newer human warships joined the fight. They were fewer, but they were deadly. Their weapons struck with precision, their shields bent the attacks aside, and their pilots fought with a ferocity no alien had expected. The galaxy gasped as the impossible happened again. The small, fragile race was standing against the greatest armada ever assembled. Still, the cost was heavy. Human ships burned, crews sacrificed themselves to buy time. For every alien vessel erased, humanity lost one of its own. The void filled with wreckage, screams, and silence. But humanity did not falter. The commander's voice echoed across every channel, carried to every corner of the battlefield. We are humanity. We have bled, we have suffered, and we have risen. You may outnumber us, you may outgun us, but you will never outlast us. The commander's cannon fired again, cutting through the Armada's heart. The galaxy knew. The true test had begun.
The void burned with war. The galactic armada, vast and unrelenting, pressed against humanity's defenses. Waves of plasma and torpedoes tore across space, each strike meant to erase Earth forever. Yet the humans held. The first warship, scarred but unbroken, stood at the front like a shield for its people. Around it, newer vessels fought desperately, trading fire for fire, sacrifice for survival. Every explosion, every scream, every loss only strengthened their resolve. The galaxy, watching in silence, began to realize the truth. Humanity was not fighting for conquest. They were fighting for existence. And nothing was stronger than a race fighting to live. Inside the alien armada, commanders raged. They had expected an easy victory. Instead, their fleets were falling one by one. "This cannot be," one shouted. "They are too few. They are too weak," another screamed. But their words were hollow. They could no longer deny what they were seeing. Humanity was reshaping the balance of the galaxy. Inside the first warship, alarms blared. The ship's cannon, the weapon that had erased so many enemies, was overheating. The power cells were drained. One more shot might destroy the weapon or the ship itself. The crew looked to their commander. "Sir," one officer whispered, "if we fire again, we may not survive." The commander's face was calm. He knew the risk. He also knew the costs of failure. Earth depended on this moment. Humanity depended on it. He spoke with steady resolve. "Then we do what humanity has always done. We risk everything." The order was given. "Charge the cannon." The crew obeyed without hesitation. Their hands shook, sweat ran down their faces, but their eyes burned with determination. If they were to fall, they would fall as legends. The alien armada sensed the charge. Fear rippled through their ranks. They had seen what one shot could do. If the humans fired again, more ships, perhaps dozens, would vanish. Some captains demanded retreat. Others pushed forward in desperation, hoping to end the battle before the cannon could fire. But it was too late. The warship's core blazed with light, brighter than any star. The cannon roared, and a wave of impossible energy surged across the battlefield. Ships vanished. Not one, not two, but an entire cluster of the Armada's strongest vessels, gone in an instant, erased from existence. The shock broke the alliance. Fleets scattered, formations collapsed, and commanders screamed in panic. The Great Armada, once a wall of power, was now a storm of fear. But inside the human ship, the price was paid. The lights dimmed, the hull shook violently, and flames burst across the control room. The weapon had fired, but the ship was dying. Systems collapsed, engines failed, and silence filled the bridge. The crew held their breath, waiting for the end. Then slowly, the commander's voice rose again, weak but steady. "We are still here." Cheers broke out across the bridge. They were alive, damaged, bleeding, but alive. And outside, the galaxy had changed forever. The remnants of the alien fleets fled into the dark, leaving behind wreckage and silence. The alliance, once so proud, was broken. No empire dared return to finish the fight. Across the stars, whispers spread. "The humans cannot be defeated.
the humans fight like no other. Respect the humans or face their fire. On Earth, bells rang, voices sang, and tears flowed freely. Humanity had not only survived, they had won. The first warship, though scarred and battered, became a symbol. Its image spread across every human city, painted on banners and carved into monuments. To the galaxy, it was a weapon. To humanity, it was hope. In the years that followed, no empire dared attack Earth again. Some came to negotiate, offering alliances. Others came to learn, hoping to understand the secrets of the warship. And slowly, respect replaced mockery. The galaxy no longer laughed at humanity. And in the quiet of the stars, the commander of the first warship stood once more at his station, staring into the endless dark. His ship was damaged, yes, but it was not finished. Neither was humanity. He whispered more to himself than to anyone else. This was only the beginning.